This episode of AskJay is brought to you by Audible. Trademark my company name, I get it. What else do I have to trademark? This is getting crazy in a minute. I'm Jay Adelson, and I'm the founder and chairman of Revision 3. I've started and built a number of companies. My goal in this show is to pass on some of the knowledge from my experiences to you, the budding entrepreneurs, and hopefully leave you with some words of wisdom. Today's question comes from Matt from Scotland, who asks, I know that a company name is protected by law upon incorporation, but what about the shortened version of the company name? Do I have to trademark the one-word version of my three-word company name? Can you explain trademarking? Matt, trademarking is a magical art. It is something that absolutely anything I tell you today, you should take with a grain of salt. Definitely consult a trademark attorney. This is someone who specializes particularly in international trademark law because every country is a little bit different. How enforceable it is in every country is a little different. And understanding it and getting the full, in-depth definition of trademark law is worth it. And I would strongly recommend you get someone professional to help you. But let me give you sort of my high-level view. You're asking about why trademark and what to trademark. In general, if there is a logo or a brand or a word that the general test is if someone else was using that name in your industry or something close to your industry, would it create brand confusion for your users or your customers? In other words, could it negatively impact your business? And if the answer is yes, then you want to keep other people from using that name. And that is essentially what trademark is for. There's certain credibility associated with a trademark. I think from a branding standpoint, having the little TM, it's kind of cool and people take you seriously. But in general, it's a defensive move. So what should you trademark and how do you define what is valuable? At Digg, we had a lot of different words that we were looking at on a continual basis. And at Rev 3, same thing. So at Digg, we had the word Digg, we had Digg Inc., we had Digg Dialogue, we had Doug, D-U-G-G, a number of these different words. And the answer, whether it was possible to trademark these things, differed from place to place. In general, we did not want another website setting up shop, competing with us, or hurting our business that used the word Digg. Now that being said, it could actually help our brand if people used our name and their brand and a cool website was built. Something, I remember there was like a Digg Analytics site that was built that included the name Digg. But it creates a problem. And that is, if you're submitting for trademark, all these different trademarks, and somebody else uses your name, even in a positive way that doesn't impact your business, once you are trademarked, in order to keep your trademark, by law, you are required to enforce this. It's a little bit different than in patent law, where you really, can just have the patent and can sort of sit on a shelf and you can decide whether or not you want to enforce it. In trademark law, you have to show that you are proactively enforcing your trademark. So if somebody used it, even in a positive way, after you have it, you have to go after them. And by go after them, send them a cease and desist order. Now, there's a way around this, and what I tried to do at Digg, because I really loved it when people used Digg as a verb and included it in their name. Kevin and I, we both had no issue with this. We figured out that the way to do that is you offer a free license of your trademark to anyone who wants to use it. You just have to have record of it and have them sign a piece of paper. And that's a way around that, but that's what a trademark attorney is going to tell you to do. Revision 3 gives another example of why trademark, in this case it was around domain names. If you want to secure a domain name, or if somebody snipes you and steals your domain name, trademark is the way to get it back. So in the case of Revision 3, we had rev3 .net, .org. We wanted to be able to use the term Rev3. We got the trademark for Rev3, and that allowed us to get the rev3.com domain name. And these are things that people who are in the domain name law, can you believe that there's a whole area of domain name law now, absolutely are focused on, and they'll tell you, go get the trademark first, and it'll help you with the domains. Anyway, when we come back, I'll give you some tips, some hints on sort of figuring out at the beginning when to trademark and exactly what is it that defines that bar for something that's trademarkable. But first, let's thank our sponsors.
This episode of AskJay is brought to you by Audible.
Audible.com is the leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. Audible has over 100,000 titles to choose from, to be downloaded to your iPod, MP3 player, and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre: science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. I just downloaded Stephen Levy's book, In the Plex: How Google Thinks, Works, and Shapes Our Lives. And you can pretty much get this book for free if you sign up now. Go to audiblepodcast.com/AskJay to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, audiblepodcast.com/AskJay gets you your free audiobook. So one of the questions you have to ask yourself after you've started your business and you're thinking about trademark is, do you have the time and the money to pursue the trademark process? The good news is that it's not going to require a tremendous amount of your involvement. If you go to one of the various trademark firms, law firms, we use Barnes & Thornburg, for example, or others, they'll do all the work for you. You have to fill out like one form which countries you want to trademark it in. So it's not tremendously expensive. It might be a couple thousand, a few thousand, I'm not sure, depending on how many countries you go to. But in the end, it's not going to be too much of your time. But do you want to focus on that right now? The second thing is brands evolve. Revision 3, Rev 3, things might change. You might decide that you might want to change your brand. You might want to give it a little bit of time before you engage in this process, just to see how your users react to your brand. You might want to rebrand yourself before you launch, just because you're finding that your domain name's too long, or that you just realize that there's a psychotic drug that it's synonymous with, or whatever. There's lots of things like that. I know at Digg, we had an interesting case where LucasArts actually had created a game, I believe in the early 90s, called the Digg. And they had attorneys full-time kind of looking for matches in tech industry. And they had requested to us at Digg that we make sure we're never going to be a gaming company, and we're never going to release a game called Digg before they would step out of the way to achieve our trademark. And so, one of the things you might want to do is search for trademarks, obviously, first. So make sure you have the time, search for trademarks, and I guess finally, decide whether or not this is something that you want to continually enforce, because once you stop enforcing it and sending cease and desist letters to people who are using it, you will lose the trademark. Thanks for watching Ask Jay. Please send your questions, askjay@revision3.com. Love those video questions. They're coming in now. Want to see more of them? To the Ask Jay Adelson channel on YouTube. Then finally, please follow me on @Jay Adelson. Want to hear from you. Even if it's not a question, let me know what you think of the episodes and if you have any additional commentary on what I'm answering. So until next time, thanks for joining us.